Um, as we have been recently doing, TOEFL Map Reading Advanced Level, Taragon Publishing, alright? Today we're going to do Chapter 3, Actual TOEFL A. As you understand, actual TOEFLs are very long, extremely long, okay? The rise of Mayan civilization. Mayans are the people. They are the members of the American Indians in the Yucatan Peninsula, okay, which is now Mexico, Belize, and the north of Guatemala, all right? And they are famous for having a civilization with outstanding architecture, astrology, chronology, painting, and pottery. Okay? All right. Civilization is a human society having its own social organization and culture. All right? In 1839, in the jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, near Belize and Guatemala, explorers rediscovered a lost Mayan civilization. Where is this Yucatan Peninsula? Let's see. If you look here, Mexico, right? This part is the Yucatan Peninsula, alright? This part is Mexico, this is Belize, and this is Guatemala, alright? So the civilization was in this area. And more than 40 cities were found in the jungle. And this was one of the most fascinating archaeological discoveries of present time. Fascinating means it interests you and it attracts you and you keep on thinking about it, okay? Archaeological is the adjective of archaeology. It's a study about the past society and people, examining the remains of their tools or buildings or bones. There was once millions of Mayans, but by 1839 they were close to being disappeared. And this process of them disappearing is one of the great mysteries of history. Once numbered means, once numbered in the millions means at one time their number was millions, alright? All but disappeared means they nearly disappeared, alright? But not disappeared, alright? Nearly disappeared, but not completely disappeared. That's what all but disappeared means, alright? Mysteries of history. It's something that you can't understand, alright? The archaeologists found out that Mayans lived based on agriculture, farming, alright? And there were a lot of peasants that were supporting kings and priests and the officials and soldiers in the cities, okay? Peasants are the people, the poor people of low status, okay, in society, working on land. A mass means a large number, okay. Bureaucrats, bureau means an office in French, okay. Bureaucrats are the officials in a large administrative organization or system, okay. And the relationship between these farmers, which means the peasants, and the upper groups of people of Mayan society, was very extremely important to the rise and fall of Mayan civilization. Upper elements. Elements are the groups of people in a society or an organization having a particular aim or belief, but in this case having a particular social status or class, being of a particular social class. Fundamental means very important, essential, alright? It affects the basic nature of things, or it's the most important element on which others depend, okay? Collapse means a sudden fall, okay? Alright. So what is this part about? In 1839, the jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula, the explorers rediscovered the lost Mayan civilization, and more than 40 cities were found in the jungle. And this was one of the most fascinating archaeological discoveries of present time. Mayans were once millions. The numbers were once millions, but by 1839 they nearly disappeared, and that is a mystery in history. Mayan life was based on agriculture, and there was a lot of peasant farmers supporting kings, priests, officials, and soldiers in the cities. And the relationship between these farmers and the upper people of Mayan society was important in the rise and fall of Mayan civilization. Do you understand? Agriculture is farming, right? And raising crops and animals. The method of raising crops and animals, okay? Alright, what is the next part about? By the archaeological excavations, it was evident that Mayans began as farmers in villages, small villages, and they they raised crops like beans, corn, and squash. Excavation, thanks to means because of, right? Excavation is digging up the earth and discovering the tools and bones of the old people or society to learn information about the past. Cultivate means to prepare land and grow crops. Squash, what is that? Squash is a type of vegetable with thick skin and soft or hard flesh inside it. Let's look at a picture of a squash. These are squash, okay? See that? And they later slowly began forming more complex societies. Gradually means in small steps over a long period. Sophisticated means advanced and complex. Strong leaders came out and started to attract the followers. And by 250 AD, the first proof of kings and dynasties appeared. Emerge means to come out. Dynasty, what is that? It's a series of rulers of a country, all of the same family. And there were big building plans started, and huge temples and palaces, which we can see until this day were built. Massive means large. Programs is a series of actions or events planned to do something, all right? Initiate means to begin, all right? But not like the most ancient civilizations. The Mayans never had one single king, all right? Unite means to join and become one. Instead, more than 40 small kingdoms developed, and the continuous war between them was an obstacle to a united Mayan society, civilization, all right? Arose, what does that mean? Arise means to begin and develop. Virtually constant, what does virtually mean? It means it's nearly true, so that you can consider it as true, all right? So it means nearly. Warfare is the activity of fighting a war. A bane is something that makes someone feel unhappy. Something that frequently makes someone feel unhappy or annoyed, all right? A bane. No king could be strong enough to defeat the others. That's because of the nature of the land, the farming conditions, and not having the ability to move easily. Overcome means to, in this case, it means to defeat, right? Or having control. Lack of mobility. Mobility means the quality of being able to move easily, all right? So what is this part about? The archaeologists made excavations and found out that the Mayans began as farmers in small villages, and they cultivated crops. And then later they began to form sophisticated societies. Strong leaders came out, and by 250 AD, the first proof of kings and dynasties appeared, all right? And there were large building plans, and large building plans began, and huge buildings, which we can see today, were built, all right? But they, unlike any other ancient civilizations, Mayans didn't unite under one king. Instead, there was more than 40 small kingdoms, and the constant war between these kingdoms was an obstacle for the united Mayan civilization.